The city of big shoulders and our Sox had not been kind to the visitors from the Big Apple as they hit and pitched their way to 8 straight wins on the south side. But yesterday, a different story. The Yankees put an end to that streak with a 4-3 come-from-behind victory. And today, the Yankees look to even this 4-game set at 2 apiece. Series final, and Derek Jeter's final game in Chicago is next. We are coming to you from the city beautiful, Chicago, Illinois, where this afternoon, Comcast Sportsnet presents White Sox baseball. It's Paul Konerko, Adam Dunn, Alexei Ramirez, Adam Eaton, and the Sox as they get set to butt heads with Derek Jeter and the 27-time world champion New York Yankees. Hi, everybody, and welcome. With Steve Stone, I'm Ken Harrelson as we get set to bring you the finale of this 4-game set. As you know, we won the first 2. Those were exciting games. We won yesterday. I should say we won the first one 3-2. Then we won game 2 6-5. Then yesterday we lost a toughie. We had a 3-run lead in the 9th inning, blew it, lost it 4-3. But today, Andre Rienzo on the bump.
Andre Rienzo has done an unbelievable job. He didn't break with the club in spring training. He wasn't assured of a starting spot, but because of injuries, he was brought to the big leagues, and given the baseball, he's 4-0. The Sox have won every one of his 6 starts. To go with that good curveball, he's got a cutter and a slider now, and that really helps him when he can't get the breaking ball over the plate. He's been one of those guys that stepped up and did quite a job when this team really needed him.
Well, we've got our work cut out for us today.
We do. Masahiro Tanaka going to the mound for the Yankees. This year, he's been all everything. He's got a strikeout to walk ratio of 9-1. He's 6-1 overall this year. Lost his last start last time. First time he had lost since 2012. This guy can put it exactly where he wants to throw it. He's got a great splitter. That's the wipeout pitch. And for the Yankees, he's become their ¡1 starter. They paid a great deal of money for him, and he's certainly paying dividends.
And besides that, this is Derek Jeter's final game here in Chicago. So sit back, relax, and strap it down. White Sox baseball coming your way.
White Sox baseball on Comcast Sportsnet is brought to you in part by your Chicago area and Northwest Indiana Lexus dealer, who invites you to test drive a Lexus today. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois. Through it all. AT&T Uverse. AT&T Uverse TV. Check availability at 1-800-PIC-ATT. Rethink possible. And by Ford. Check out America's freshest lineup at your local Ford store or at localfordstores.com.
Welcome back to beautiful U.S. Cellular Field. It's a sellout crowd today. An absolutely gorgeous day for baseball. 79 degrees at game time. You couldn't ask for anything more. As the Sox finish up their series with the New York Yankees, bid adieu to Derek Jeter in this, his last ball game he will play at U.S. Cellular Field. And the White Sox, who have won 2 of the first 3 of this series, take the field. Let's look at how Joe Girardi's going to line up his New York Yankees for the finale today. Brett Gardner leading it off, and then Derek Jeter, his career at U.S. Cellular Field. It's been good, but not great. Jacoby Ellsbury in center field hitting third, then Mark Teixeira at first, Ryan McCann at second. In Jervis Solarte at third, with Alfonso Soriano in right, Ichiro Suzuki is a designated hitter, and Brian Roberts hitting ninth and playing second base. The key defensive setup and how they'll line up behind Andre Rienzo, Alejandro Diaz in left, Adam Eaton in center, Dion Viciedo in right field, Connor Gillespie at third, Lexi Ramirez at shortstop, Gordon Beckham at second, Adam Dunn at first base once again. Tyler Flowers gets a nod behind the plate, and our Lexus pursuing perfection starting pitcher is Andre Rienzo. He's 4-0. This is his 7th start, his 8th game overall. The Sox have won all 6 of his starts to this point. Right-hander's not hitting much against him. 203 total. The umpires for the game today: Dan Bellino behind the plate, Tom Woodring is at first, DJ Rayburn is at second, and Jeff Nelson, the crew chief, is at third. And let's look at these teams head-to-head and see exactly how they compare. Well, the Yankees have a bit better record. The Sox have hit better. They've scored better. They've hit more home runs, but the ERA a huge difference. 3.98 for the Yankees, 4.69 for our Sox. So they've thrown the ball around the infield on this gorgeous day. We're ready to play baseball. I'm ready to turn over to my play-by-play partner, Ken Harrelson.
All right, Stevie, thank you. And once again, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to White Sox baseball right here on Comcast Sportsnet. So happy you could join us for the final game of the series. And even more important than that, final game that Derek Jeter will ever play here in Chicago. And the first pitch of the ball game to Gardner is taken for a strike. Gardner, 1 for 10 in the series, comes in hitting at .292. 3 homers and 19 knocked in. Want to keep him off the base pass. He is 11 for 11 in that category.
Gardner and Ellsbury are the 2 guys that if you keep them off base, you can hold down the Yankees. If they get on base, they will try to run you out of the ballpark, and it'll be difficult to keep this team from scoring.
Lexi.
Batting second, the shortstop, number 2. Derek Jeter.
Jeter hitting at .259. He's 3 for 12 in the series.
And probably if you're going to characterize, and it's hard to characterize a guy with well over 3,300 hits, characterize him by 1 hit, this would be the one. That little line drive over the second baseman's head into right center field. Something he's done consistently since he won the Rookie of the Year in 1996. It's only fitting in his last game here that that's how he would start it off.
So here's Ellsbury hitting at .263, 2 for 13 with a homer. That coming yesterday. That was the game winner. Outfield straight up. Yankees with a .258 average, 3.98 team ERA. Two and 0 the count then here at the ballpark. 330 down the left field line, 335 down the right field line, 375 in the gaps, and 400 straightaway center.
Yankees come into this one 2 games in back of Toronto. They're in second place.
No surprise in that division. Red Sox lost 9 in a row. They had a 5-0 lead yesterday in the first inning of play. Lost it in 15 innings, 6-5.
It's pretty amazing when you look at the Red Sox at 8 under, 7 games back. Still, even at this point, Red Sox have a very talented team. The Blue Jays are far from running away with it. I'm not sure if any team is capable of it in the East, and the Red Sox will have their chance.
Well, there's just not a dominant team over there in the East.
No,
There's a lot of parity.
Every team has a couple of great strengths, but they also have some glaring weaknesses, and that's what's keeping everything in the neighborhood.
Full count. Jeter takes off.
Now we're still a while away from that trading deadline at the end of July. But what happens if things still stay as bunched as they are, and quite obviously Detroit has a fairly comfortable 5.5 game lead. Oakland's lead is down to just 2.5 games. But it becomes then a general manager's division. Who's going to go out and get who to tip the balance of power in each and every division and eventually get to the playoffs?
There he goes again. And another foul ball.
When do you anticipate some of the more consequential deals being made, or do we have to wait a while?
No, wait a while. Wait a while. There's too many guys still involved in the hunt. And the ones who are more apt to be trading that are in the hunt want to keep what they've got right now because they're still in the hunt. So the market share is limited right now. I would say in another month that market share will open up.
Wouldn't you also think that with the proliferation of injuries, teams are waiting to see which shoe is going to fall next to see if they're victim to one of those terrible injuries?
That's a great point, Steve. There he goes again. And there's ball 4. So trouble brewing. The single, a walk, 1 out, and that'll bring up Teixeira. But, you know, it's getting to the point now, especially for pitching, guys are just afraid to pull the trigger on pitching.
Well, you take a look around and you see what's happened, and we're knocking at the door of 20 Tommy Johns, as well as so many other assorted injuries, not only to the staffs but other places. And you say to yourself, well, if I'm going to empty out my minor league to get that one guy or 2 guys to put me over the top and then lose 2 of my best players, I've done nothing except depleted my farm system.
That's what a lot of guys are thinking. Exactly. So Teixeira comes in at 256, 9 homers, 25 knocked in, 2 for 11 in this series. Yeah, there's a lot of angst, so to speak, among general managers right now.
They keep seeing their players one by one keep going down.
There's a strike.
And the great example, Colorado is sitting 4 games in back of San Francisco with a chance, they feel, to make a run at it. And they lose their Gold Glove, maybe sure to be all-star third baseman Nolan Arenado. He's lost for 6 to 8 weeks.
1-2 the count. Yeah, this is something that is new for a lot of the general managers to this degree because they've never seen it before. You've never seen it before.
No, not like
I've
this.
never seen it before. And we got 100 years between us in this game. 2-2. Don't be trying to overthrow that curveball. Now let it work for you. A lot of young pitchers. Play the Yankees, and it's just normal. Yankees' biggest name in sports. And the adrenaline starts running. A lot of times, if they're breaking ball pitchers, which Andre is, they try to put a little too much on it, and they throw a lot of spirals.
There are certain teams it's a psychological factor. There's other teams where you just don't match up particularly well. Those teams that have a lot of quality left-hand hitters, if you're a right-hand breaking baller, you've got to tell yourself to just relax, keep that breaking ball away from the hitters, or if you go in, go way in and down. And you can do it on the road. It's tough in their ballpark where it's so easy to hit a home run in right and right center.
Be gone. Well, for all of you viewing and listening out there, my partner was a breaking ball pitcher. And in that, he did not have a good changeup. And back in those days, if you did not have a good changeup and you were a breaking ball pitcher, you were going to face the predominance of left-handed hitters. You're used to it.
Yeah, and then you'd face 7, sometimes 8 in the lineup. But I'd never beaten the Yankees ever in my career until the good year of 1980, when I changed my mental processes and I boiled it down to one thing. I always felt it was a monumental task to beat the Yankees, especially in Yankee Stadium. Big task because they had a terrific team. And then I realized I didn't have to do that. I had to make a good pitch on pitch 1 to Willie Randolph. That's all I had to do, and I could do that. And it sounds strange, but what you're doing is you're breaking a monumental goal down to its simplest parts, one pitch at a time. You can make one pitch at a time, then before you know it, you're looking at the 8th and 9th inning, looking back and saying, hey, you put together a pretty good game.
Well, it sounds easy, but it's easier said than done.
True.
For most guys, at least you found it.
And it's really the only way that you can do it. You just can't look at a shutout or look at a complete game or look at a quality start. It's too big an accomplishment for the most part. But break it down pitch by pitch, you can get that done.
He gone. Gets in a little bit of a jam, pitches out of it with a couple of strikeouts after a half inning of play. It's their guys nothing, and our guys coming to bat.
Eaton to lead it off. Then it's Gordon Beckham, Connor Gillespie, Diane Viciedo, Adam Dunn, Alexei Ramirez, who's been red hot, with Paul Konerko, Alejandro Diaz, and Tyler Flowers to round it out. The key defensive setup and how they'll line up behind Tanaka. It's Gardner, Ellsbury, and Soriano left to right, with Solarte, Jeter, Roberts, and Teixeira in the infield. Brian McCann behind the plate, and Masahiro Tanaka on the hill. This is 10th start. He's 6-1, the ERA 2.39. 73 strikeouts, just 8 walks in 64 innings. He has allowed 7 home runs. But that strikeout to walk ratio is absolutely unbelievable. Knocking on the door of 9-1. Usually if a pitcher can get a 3 to 3.5 to 1 strikeout to walk ratio, he's ecstatic. 9-1 is just otherworldly.
And before we show you our picks to click, you at home select yours. As here's Adam Eaton.
He'll throw an off-speed breaking ball. He'll throw a hard slider, and his wipeout pitch is the splitter. And if he gets that pitch, it's going to be very difficult to hit. It's a high inside fastball out of the zone. You expect maybe to get a couple inches outside. You don't expect that one inside.
Fouls that back, so the count hangs at 0-2. Yonder, Ryan Roberts, and they just do get him. Nice play.
Roberts has to make up for the fact that that arm isn't quite as strong as it used to be. By getting rid of the ball quickly, he does just that and gets it there an eyelash ahead of Eaton.
So here is Gordon hitting at .291, 3 homers. He's driven in 10, 5 for 12 in this series. Takes first pitch strike. .24-0 last year with Rakuten, with 1.27 ERA.
Yes, but before you start thinking that was all that good, it did take him 27 starts. So it's not like he was perfect. He was just awfully close to it. That is some year. The fact that in 27 starts you can pitch 217 innings.
Well, it's called a $150 million year.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
And in essence, by going 24-0 last year, he made $150 million.
He did that in his ball club. The posting fee was a little over 20. That goes to the ball club.
2-2 pitch. Just did get a piece of it.
You can understand, however, why a whole lot of teams would have been interested. There were a whole lot of teams that were in the bidding till about 130, 135 million. And then, as so often happens, when the Yankees let it be known that there was no way in the world they were going to get outbid for this guy, a few teams started to peel off.
Full count. Well, in baseball, among baseball people, they call it Yankee money. When Yankee money comes into the equation and the conversation that Steve just brought up, that more or less ends the conversation.
One thing Brian Cashman said, there were a lot of general managers that were very happy with the presentation they made to Tanaka and his people. said, yes, well, we are also, and it's called Yankee Dollars. And let's see who wins, the best presentation or the most money. And quite obviously we found out who won.
That's a little soft fly ball in center field. Ellsbury coming on. He's got what you call that makeup speed. So with 2 out, let's check out our picks to click this afternoon. Mangio, our director crew, and with Alexei. Steve's going with Beckham, JJ Shearer, and I, and all the great folks at Ditka's. We're going with Adam Eaton. So here's Gillespie. Now, unfortunately, there are a lot of people who define Brian Cashman. Well, he's got the dollars. He's got the money. He's got the Yankee money. Well, he's done more than that. He's been a terrific general manager for a lot of reasons. There's a shot. Namely, one of them, God rest his soul, was George Steinbrenner.
Well, dealing with what you have to deal with in New York, you have the regular things that all general managers deal with, and then you have not only ownership, but you have an intrusive media that probably only in Boston is even close to as intrusive as they are in New York, and it's not an easy thing to do.
That's one reason Jeter is, in my opinion, the greatest ambassador we've ever had for this game. And that's one reason that Joe Torre was a great manager, because of the fact he had to deal with Steinbrenner and that media.
And 4 World Series championships will get it done for you.
Yeah.
But Joe was a master at manipulating the media.
As that has popped up, shading his eyes, which he's done a few times in his career. Jeter makes a play, 1, 2, 3, and after 1, no score.
Time later in the game, brought to you by Miller Lite.
And join us for Friday Night Trivia on May 30th at the Miller Lite Bullpen Sports Bar at 7:30. Teams of 2 to 6 fans can compete in 3 innings of trivia, and each member of the winning team will receive a ticket to the all-inclusive home play club for a future game. That's nice, real nice. You must have a game ticket and be at least 21 years old to enter the Miller Lite Bullpen Sports Bar. So for details, whitesox.com/Fridays. Here's Solarte. It'll be Solarte, Soriano, and Suzuki.
Solarte has been pretty impressive from both sides of the plate in this series.
And he looks good with that leather out there too. He's got some good moves. He's got good body language. I'm talking with Joe Girardi, said that he really brings a lot of energy to the ball club, and you're hearing more and more and more that word used in today's game. Energy.
It's a shame it took him so long to be able to find that out, but better late than never. As he was beating around in the minor leagues, could not find a spot. It's a combination of a whole lot of things, and then finally coming over here to the Yankees, and as you can see, dominating, especially from the left side. He's got his opportunity, he made the most of it.
Ball takes it bad. Hop in. So the leadoff man aboard. And they rule it a base hit.
Unfortunately, we have a lot of infielders these days that like to play that ball off to the side. If you have great hands, you can certainly get away with it. Much preferred to get in front of it if you have the opportunity.
So here's Soriano hitting at .240, 6 homers, 18 knocked in. Well, a lot of times youngsters like Solarte, when they're floundering around the minor leagues, it's hard to have energy when you're going bad. It's hard to have energy when you're failing. It's hard to have energy when you're trying to find your way and trying to find out if you can make yourself a major league player. And once you start to see that mirror and that mirror likes what it sees, that energy sort of comes to you. Oh yeah.
That's actually why the slider to Soriano is better than the curveball. On the curveball, he'll have a chance many times to follow that ball down, and he likes to hit low pitches. On a slider, if it's going to be low and out of the zone, the speed at which it comes in, he's not going to have much of a chance.
Tyler keeps it in front of him. Short lead by Solarte. High. Two down. Check that. One down. So with one out here, Suzuki. He's 2 for 6 in the series.
Still with on base percentage of .416. You don't see those kind of lofty on base percentage numbers in this day and age very often.
First pitch strike.
The active leaders for career batting average: Joe Mauer, Miguel Cabrera, Albert Pujols. And then the first left-hander on the list, Ichiro Suzuki, followed by Joey Votto. Votto having a lot of knee issues this year, and there's a lot of supposition around Cincinnati that he will not be 100% the rest of this season. And if that's the case, and it appears to be, the Reds are going to have some problems because he is their leader.
Oh, and to the count to the 40-year-old veteran. outfield, around to the left, big gap in right center, and that's right back through the middle.
We'll take a look at this again. It's a curveball. He's able to move out with that front side but keep his hands back, and that's what has allowed him all of these years to pile up hit after hit after hit. And you just saw another one.
Brian Roberts. Hitting at .232 with a homer. He's knocked in 9.
Drew Pomerantz was trying to do something that hadn't been done since 1900, which was his first 4 starts of the year without giving up a run. But he gave up 1 to Toronto. And Toronto leads 1-0, and the dream ends for Drew Pomerantz, who we saw in Oakland and threw the ball pretty well.
There's a strike, and the count 2-1. Brett Gardner on deck. And that's a shank souvenir. 79 degrees. Beautiful day here in the city. Beautiful.
The reason why I think the Yankees are tougher against right-handed starters is that just about each and every one of their switch hitters, certainly the ones that play all the time, are much better left-handed than they are right-handed.
We got a big pitch coming up right here. Full count. 2 on, 1 out.
You can throw a ground ball. Roberts has grounded into 7 double plays this year.
Chops that one just foul. And once again, a very happy Memorial Day weekend to each and all. Make it a safe one. Was ejected for the first time this season. Okay.
With the managerial challenges, the umpires review, and a different outlook as managers go out to discuss a call, you just don't see guys thrown out quite as much. We'll probably see that certainly throughout this year. And we'll see what changes will come to the video room.
Well, that's going to load them up. And that's going to bring Brett Gardner to the plate. Gardner 0 for 1, grounded out to Alexei to lead off the ball game.
Time now for AT&T Uverse Multiview. Don Cooper comes walking to the mound. See the bases full of Yankees. Don has had his say, and hopefully he can coax a ground ball out of Gardner, but it'll have to be hit hard to turn 2.
Now 2-0. Well, everything is self-induced. We certainly don't know if it is. Well, we touched on it in the first inning or not, but it's there. And there's the base hit. That's going to score a pair. $2-0. Yankees.
And for Gardner, RBI's number 20 and 21, which is a pretty substantial number for a leadoff hitter. He got a cutter, which is very similar to a fastball. If you're a left-hand hitter, that ball's going to come into you, and Gardner was able to take it to the right side. So the Yankees break on top first.
And here's Jeter. He lined a single into right field. Tyler keeps it in front of him.
Throws it away as Alexei drifted into second base. There wasn't going to be any play there. That being said, the ball was on the third base side of second and no chance for Ramirez to get it. So it is indeed E1. Both runners move up.
Yep. Now the infield in. And strike. So the count evens at 1. Flare for a base hit. They're going to hold Gardner at third. The third line crosses the plate. And that is poster child of Derek Jeter right there. That is hit number 3,360.
Without that air on the throw, it's bases loaded, and a ground ball still gets you out of the inning. Now it's runners at the corners and a 3-run game.
Ellsbury walked last inning. That's going to hang up for him. Yes, it will. Now they're going to go to first base. And Adam thought he had him. DJ Rayburn says no.
And here comes Robin. He wants to come out and have a talk.
Well, that's big, because if they got the throw at first before he crossed the plate, it's just a 3-run inning.
Run doesn't score. So we'll take another look at it. Line drive rocket. Terrific play by Adam Eaton. He comes across with the presence of mind to get up quickly, fire it back to the bag, and
looked like it was safe.
Yeah, it looked like he got the foot in ahead of the throw. Yeah, most definitely. So that's not one that Robin wants to challenge. It does cost the run. Sacrifice fly by Ellsbury, his 17th driven in, and it's a 4-0 game.
And what a play by Eaton. Wow. Boy, that was some kind of catch and some kind of instinct right there. So here's Teixeira. He struck out.
This could have been a much bigger inning if not for this. Adam not only catches it, but when he sees Jeter off the bag and realizes that a double play gets you out of the inning, he comes up firing. And it's a pinpoint throw to first base.
Adam has a very accurate arm, very strong.
We've seen him not afraid to throw anywhere at any time under any circumstances.
Well, so far we've seen him not afraid of anything. So the shift, Alexei will make it on the first base out of second, but they put a crooked number up there, and we'll go to the bottom of the second, trailing by 4.
He will win the inaugural Chicago White Sox Broadcast Bullpen Challenge. The Broadcast Bullpen Challenge continued earlier today with NBC5 News Today traffic reporter Kai Martin facing US 99.5 morning show Ramblin' Ray Stevens. Visit whitesox.com/bullpen bracket to see the challenge brackets and to learn how to vote. Oh, this is coming down to a precious few, and the tension is palpable.
All right, let's start pecking away. First pitch strike. Diciado. Dunn on deck. Ramirez in the hole. 4-0 Yankees. Just flips a little breaking ball up there.
The ability to get everything you have over the plate whenever you want to throw it makes the art of pitching appear simple at times.
He did not go. Well, the definition of being successful is throwing strikes and changing speeds.
And it helps if you have multiple pitches and you can throw them all in the zone.
Count hangs at 1-2. that kind of control. You don't have to look at the catcher. You can watch the hitter, and he'll tell you where he wants the pitch or where he does not want the pitch.
Well, when you took a look at McCann, he put down 5. That's the splitter. And then Tanaka threw it up there, and it just exploded straight down. This identifies to the eye as a fastball. And at the last instant, that ball is nowhere to be found.
Here's Adam. Adam at 244, 8 homers, 22 knocked down.
Last 9 games, things have been going awfully well for the big man. Driven in 10 runs, hit 3 homers. And one of the things he's done so very well, he's taken 34 walks. The closest on the team to him is 20 back, and that's Viciano with 14.
That's high. Two down. So a 2 out to Alexei.
Pretty much go after Tanaka, very similar to how guys tried to approach Greg Maddux, the Hall of Famer who threw nothing but strikes, would invariably throw strike 1, and he just couldn't let him get too deep in the count. He had too many good pitches to wipe you out if you got down in the count.
Tanaka, 6'2", 205. I mean, he doesn't look like it, so to speak, in that uniform, but yesterday I passed by him in the tunnel. He's wide. Street clothes looks bigger than that.
Those are some pretty impressive numbers back in Japan. 99 and 35.
There's a strike, and the count's 3-1. Softly hit off the end of the bat. And that is 6 up, 6 down for Tanaka.
shown on our broadcast later in the game. That's brought to you by AT&T.
Four nothing bad guys here in the top of the third inning. It'll be McCann, Solarte, Soriano. Again struck out, swinging on a curveball. Takes first pitch strike. Alexei's got it. And you can join our Sox for a sports and marketing career fair this Friday, May 30th, 4:30 to 7. Participants will have the opportunity to network with a host of sports clubs and marketing companies, so specially priced game tickets can be purchased at whitesox.com/job. Solarte started off at 4-run second with a base hit. Took a bad hop. Oh, the glove will back him. When it won the count. And a reminder, we have the Cleveland Indians coming to town tomorrow afternoon game. Memorial Day or 3. It'll be an off day on Thursday and then finish off this homestand with 3 against the Padres.
Indians here for 3 night games, and lately, oh, I mean 2 night games after that, excuse me.
Here you go.
And the Indians are starting to play better baseball. One of the leaders, Lonnie Chisenhall, is starting to really hit.
Yeah, he's got a chance to be a player. He's got everything it takes to be a player now. It boils down to that 6 inches between the ears.
He's overcome that, and he was struggling with that for a while. Then he's got a chance to be pretty good.
Soriano popped up to Viciato in right.
One of the guys we're going to miss in that series, Trevor Bauer. Starting to throw the ball pretty well since coming up from minor leagues.
That's fair ball right down the line. So Diaz will get it back in. Soriano is 12th two-bagger.
You take a look where this pitch is, you realize how Soriano gets a lot of his hits. Watch where it shows up. Low and in, exactly where Soriano would want it. He hit it so hard that Connor Gillespie could not react in time, despite being very close to the line. Fonzo's been one of the most deadly low ball hitters around since he came into this league. Remember, the 40-40 club his last year with the Washington Nationals.
So here's Suzuki. He threw up. He singled and scored last inning. Ichiro probably has as much foot movement in the box as anybody in baseball. It's almost like everything is predicated. Everything is off his feet as he strikes him out upstairs. Third strikeout, but they lead it 4-0.
the questions, and you win the money. Don't miss Beer Money, presented by Coors Light, the sports trivia show that has Chicago talking. It's tonight at 7, only on Comcast Sportsnet.
Masahiro Tanaka has himself a 4-run lead here, going to the bottom of the 3rd inning. What's the highest you've seen him on the gun?
92, maybe.
I didn't see that. I saw 91 once.
Yeah, I mean, he's not overpowering. He just moves everything around, and everything he throws moves.
Breaking ball misses to Pauly. Pauly 2 for 12 in the series. Pauly was the one who made the presentation. Pre-game ceremony. Derek Jeter. They gave him a beautiful bench made of bats. And Ron Kittle makes those. And it was beautiful. With bats of some of his former teammates, favorite teammates. And they gave him a donation to his foundation, $5,000.
And I like the last gift they gave.
This is the one that Derek Jeter is going to love. Right there in the middle of the screen. Not that one. But he's going to love that piece of side taken from the old ballpark at the shortstop position and taken where every Hall of Fame shortstop played on it. And Jeter's name is on that list. He was the last one to be on the list. And there it is right there. Luke Appling, Pee Wee Reese, Louis Aparicio, Cal Ripken Jr., Lou Boudreau, Phil Rizzuto, Ozzie Smith, Barry Larkin, Robin Yount, Omar Vizquel, who's going to be in the Hall of Fame, and Derek. And that's one he'd rather have that, I think, than any other thing could give it.
That is truly an elite club. That includes the All-Star game played back there in 1950, I believe.
Watch out, I hit him. That's only the second guy that Tanaka has hit this year, and that's our first base runner.
Well, hopefully the offense propels this to put together a decent inning as that ball rides up and in. He quite obviously was trying to get it up and in, but not that far in. Ball is aboard.
Japanese pitchers don't do what they used to do when they hit you.
Used to bow to you.
Yeah. We
Sorry
played
about that.
Japanese when I was playing with Cleveland in spring training in Tucson. And my allergies were killing me, so I wasn't going to take batting practice that day. So they asked me to come out and hit because they wanted. So anyway, the game starts. They had this young kid out there, about 6'2", which is, big. He was throwing probably 95. He hit me right in the thigh.
Ooh, that felt good.
And I looked at him because I was really hot. It's one of those things where you get hit and it really hurts bad, and you get hot real, instant. And all of a sudden, I look at him and he's bowing like this.
Well, you know what?
I said, you know what you can do with that bow?
They used to do that. Some of the meaner pitchers would do that in this country. They would hit you, they would come and bow over you to see if you were dead, and if you were, then they go out and take their warm-up pitches.
And then try to hit you again.
If you got up, yeah.
3-0 the count. The Diaza.
Well, maybe hitting Paul to start off the inning has disrupted the rhythm of Tanaka.
That ball hit hard right at it. So that's a hang with them.
You can't beat a shower on a beautiful day. It's 78 degrees. Like early in the season where you go in that shower and you get stuck there because you're frozen.
So here's Tyler. Tyler hitting at .312, 3 homers, 15 knocked in. 1 for 2 in the series.
And Tanaka was just a very little baseball player. In first grade, he decided to be a catcher, which for a while seems to be a good idea. Then in rapid dispatch, he decided that perhaps there was a better place for him. And he's parlayed that into a lot of success and a lot of riches.
Well, he's probably going to throw him another one right there. 0-2 the count. Or 1-1. So 0-2. Yeah, 1-1 on our scoreboard.
You rang him up.
And he was right out there in the same vicinity.
When you're around the plate with everything, you're going to get the benefit of the calls. And that pitch had the zone. Menard's pitch tracks showed you that it was low and away. Perfect pitchers pitch on 0-2 because the hitter can't get to it for the most part. If you take it, you're rung up.
So here's Adam. Adam grounded out to Brian Roberts. And that ball is slicing into the seats for a souvenir.
But before his journeys as a full-time player ended, the Sox had Manny Ramirez. He did not fare very well here in the 6 weeks that he was here. But the Cubs decided to sign him as a player coach. He's going to be at AAA. How do you think Manny fares as a coach?
I know one thing. If I was a player, I'd love to talk to him about hitting because he was the smartest hitter in the game when he played. He and Frank Thomas. Well, as we talked about, 3 best right-handed hitters in a long time in this league: Manny Ramirez, Frank Thomas, and Miguel Cabrera. And one of the reasons being they're the smartest hitters. We had dinner in Kansas City one night. DJ, myself, Sandy Alomar, Kenny Lofton. Herm Snyder's birthday, so we're out at the barbecue place there. You should have heard the way that Sandy and Kenny talked about Manny and the way he approached hitting. He would tell you after the first at bat, I'm going to get this guy in the 7th or 8th inning, and I'm going to hit that slider right over that right center field wall. And they said that he would do everything he could in his second at bat, maybe his third at bat, to set that situation up. And then in the 7th or 8th inning, when he got it, he hit it right over that right center field wall or off the wall.
There's no doubt he had tremendous skills, but also if you talk to anybody who was ever his teammate, they'll tell you how hard he worked at it offensively from his days in the minor league organization of the Indians.
Well, he was a .312 career hitter. That doesn't sound That's off the plate. Like being an icon as he was to other hitters, but it's not what he hit, it was when he hit it. And he would give away, they said he would give away at bats just to set that guy up for that one particular pitch.
312 with power is still pretty impressive.
Well, certainly it is, but not to the degree of as he stepped off. Well, the best 1-2 punch I've ever seen. You know, I played against Madeline Maris. They were pretty good 1-2 punch. Was Manny Ramirez and David Ortiz. They were the best.
Well, you can count on a twosome to drive in anywhere from 275 to 300 runs a year. And one's righty, one's lefty. They didn't have any perceptible weaknesses, and both were terrific clutch hitters. That is a hard duo to beat. There's been some other great ones, don't get me wrong, but those guys just tough to beat.
Payoff pitch to Adam Eaton. And that's into left field. So we do get our first base runner hit by a pitch, and it's still 4-0 Yankees.
The action with White Sox in game live on CSNChicago.com. Brought to you by Comcast Business Class.
Top of the fourth inning. 4-6-0 for them. No runs, no hits, one error for us. So it'll be Roberts and back to the top of the order with Gardner and Jeter. As Steve had mentioned that the Cubs have signed Manny Ramirez to a player-coach situation in AAA. Dave Ross did some research. Mentioned he's a .312 career hitter, but with runners in scoring position, Manny was a .327 hitter.
That's pretty impressive.
That's really impressive. Because when you get men in scoring position, you can get the best stuff they got. And a lot of that came in the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning when they had the best arms out there they had. That's one thing you don't see, or it's not talked about too much. A lot of sabermetricians is the fact that you get guys like Manny Ramirez, Frank Thomas, and Miguel Cabrera. They are seeing the best stuff that staff has more often than your mediocre hitters. Lexi, because in the 7th, 8th, and 9th, if they come to bat once or twice, they're going to see the best arm they got out there.
That's one of the reasons why we talk about pitchers who can succeed in the 7th and 8th inning but have trouble in the 9th, is because they're saving that 1 or 2 quality pinch hitters. They're not going to use them in the 7th. They're usually not going to use them in the 8th. But if you're a right-handed closer, you're going to see that guy in the 9th inning. That guy that's paid to do just one thing, get on base against you, and if you get him out, well, those are the great ones.
Here's Gardner. He's 1 for 2, a 2-run single, and he also has scored a run. Now, Steve, when you talk to most hitters about hitting, the majority of them, the vast majority of them, will talk something about mechanics. It's amazing. It really is. They'll talk about, well, when I'm in a certain position, I can do this, blah, 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 blah. There's a little soft comebacker. And that's out number 2. Nice pitch. But when you talk with great hitters about hitting, they never talk about mechanics. They talk about approach.
Well, they know what they're going to do mechanically to get to a pitch that they think is coming at a given time.
Well, the point is, the great hitters let their approach, let their thoughts dictate their mechanics, not their mechanics dictate their thoughts. As here's Jeter. He's 2 for 2 with an RBI on the last game he'll ever play here at our ballpark and in the great city of Chicago. First pitch strike. Right there, that one at 92, and the count 0-2 to number 2.
There's been so many great Yankee hitters, legendary Hall of Fame hitters, and yet at the top of a whole lot of lists stands Derek Jeter.
That's amazing. Really, I mean, what he's done. And he's got the World Championship rings to back it up.
He's had his share of detractors. Of course, a lot of them are Met fans. Look at the all-time ranks for Derek Jeter in games played, in hits, in stolen bases, 2nd in runs, 2nd in doubles, 6th in batting average, 6th in runs batted in, which you wouldn't expect for a top-of-the-order hitter, and 9th in home runs.
Well, I don't care who you are. When you have a 2-team city, you're going to have detractors.
Well, there's no doubt.
Yeah.
Absolutely no doubt. Especially as good as he's been and as successful as the Yankees have always been. And the Mets are not without their successes. They've had a couple of good runs at it. But, of course, in that city, it's the Yankees.
Another foul. And that ball into right center field. And can't get it. Ball kept slicing away from him. Jeter is 3 for 3, picking up his first triple of the season.
His last triple was August 25th of 2011. So he's making his finale a memorable one as this cutter stays right down the middle of the plate. Adam Eaton thinking he's got a shot. He comes up about a foot short. And then Derek Jeter is off to the races. So he's making his finale something to remember here at U.S. Cellular Field.
here's Ellsbury, a walk and a sacrifice fly. Thanks to Jeter's good base running. Ball gets away. And it's 5-0.
I think Andre thought had he held on to it, he would have been able to stop him from scoring, but that wouldn't have been the case. He would not have been out. It does go as a wild pitch as that curveball in the dirt bounds away from Tyler. And then it's a foot race. And 39-year-old man keep the play, and the answer is yes. Second wild pitch for Rienzo.
Two balls and a strike to Ellsbury. Three and one.
Tough early going for Andre here this afternoon as far as pitches are concerned.
He gone. I got a score with it 3-1. I guess it was 2 strikes. Meanwhile, he picked up the run, and it's 5-0.
U.S. women's hockey team throughout the ceremonial first pitch before the game. Coyne was one of the younger members of the U.S. women's hockey team, which won the silver medal in the 2014 Winter Olympics at Sochi. She has competed in 3 International Ice Hockey Federation Women's World Championships and 4 Nations Cups. The Southeastern University student turns 22 on May 25th, which I believe, any way you look at it, is today.
First pitch, ball 1 to Gordon Beckham. It was 0 for 1, went out to center field. That's I don't know who's working our scoreboard today, but he's no Rick Fuse.
Good for OB. He's in a slump.
He's having a bad day. One and one to count. Calling 2 strikes. Held on to. And that is out number 1. Sox fans, first 20,000 fans on Saturday, June 14th, will receive a White Sox cap presented by the Private Bank. The Private Bank, we solve for X. So purchase your tickets today by visiting whitesox.com or calling 866-SOX-MAN. Tanaka now with 3 strikeouts, and that'll bring up Gillespie. Popped up to Derek Jeter, who is the only man on the left side of the infield. They've got the shift on. Takes first pitch strike. That at 90. Tanaka 6-1 with a 2.39 ERA coming into this game.
Lost his last start to the Cubs.
And there's a base hit.
Through the vacated left side. That was that straightaway shortstop, but that's taking advantage of the biggest hole on the infield.
So you can cancel a post-game show. That's our first hit if you're just tuning in. So here's Tank. He struck out. Well, Tanaka's one of those guys, just watching him first time we've seen him. It appears to be one of those guys to where you just tell him where the hitter's holes are and he'll find it. He'll throw it right there. Ate him up. McCann makes the catch. Nice play by Brian.
What a terrific play, because this ball didn't stay up all that long, and McCann had to look up in the sun and try to locate it and then go get it as he was heading toward the dugout. Pretty good effort. He was taking a couple of peeks at where he was, and he makes the catch. The first time you look at Tanaka, if you want to evaluate his stuff, if you didn't know who he was, you'd look at his fastball and say, well, only major league, maybe average, maybe a plus because of the location. And the other stuff is good. It doesn't appear to be great, but mixed all together with his location, he becomes overwhelming.
It's not unlike a catfish hunter. Only he's got more pitches than catfish had. He throws maybe a mile or two harder than the cat. No, he doesn't either. He's not the same. Catfish every now and then we get 90. Meanwhile, Cass in Cooperstown.
His strikeout to walk ratio is second only to David Price. He came in 9.13 strikeouts for every walk. Phil Hughes, Felix Hernandez, Corey Kluber on that list. And as you can see, he and Price are up there by wide margins.
There's a strike. Two out, 2-2 the count to Adam. That's a fair ball. And Teixeira, good first baseman, makes the play. We're into the fifth, trailing 5-0. Mullet Night is Friday, June 13th. Come on in for the fun, which includes a pregame on-field parade, music from your favorite hair bands, and other mullet-inspired activities. All fans are invited to stay for a post-game fireworks display presented by Great Clips. Great Clips is going to be great. Teixeira fouls it away. Marcus struck out and grounded out to Alexei, who was playing on the first base side of second.
Looked like he does swing, and
let me ask you a question.
That one too. Sure.
Stevie, give me a percentage, especially when you won the Cy Young, you won 20, 25 games. Give me a percentage of the right-handed hitters versus the left-handed hitters that you had to face.
I would say most teams, because I didn't throw all that hard, most teams wanted to stack their lineup with left-handers because I was throwing so many breaking balls that would break into them. So I would say of the 9 starters, 2/3 would be left-hand hitters.
Bingo.
But the right-handers they would play were really good right-hand hitters.
Yeah, they were the stars of that team.
Yeah, they were, you're the Jim Rices of the world, and you weren't going to platoon against anybody. It didn't matter which way they threw. But all things being considered, they wanted to play their left-hand hitters. And so what you didn't mind was a whole lineup of left-hand hitters because you got your release point, and then you just stayed out there. So you looked at it, you might have 8 left-hand hitters, and you just zoned in, low and away, and maybe a cutter up and in. And that was pretty easy, but it was the alternating right and left that gave these problems.
That's the point I was getting to, because Drysdale said the same thing. Don Drysdale, for you youngsters out there, is in the Hall of Fame. He was a great pitcher for the Dodgers for many, many years, and my former partner here in the booth. But he said the same thing. He said he loved it when they stacked up left-hand hitters against him.
Well, you got the same release point. You just had to stay there. You never had to make an adjustment.
He just stayed the same release point all 9 innings. And one of the reasons is big on McCann now for 3. That's 7 strikeouts. But you got, I was talking with a friend of mine last night, and he said his son's a pitcher, and he hates to see the left-handed hitters, because he's a right-handed pitcher, come up to the plate. He said, And they're watching today. That was one of the reasons I asked you.
Sure.
So you could explain it to them that it shouldn't be fearful. It should be good.
Well, the best thing to do is get 2 of your pitches that you're really comfortable throwing, whatever the 2 are. It doesn't matter because I don't know how old his son is, but
he's 16.
Get 2 pitches, concentrate on the location, and you'll get most of them out.
Nice and nice. A 1, 2, 3. It's great in every respect except the score, as we were just talking about our Chuck. So for us, it'll be Ramirez, Canerco, and Diaz to face Masahiro Tanaka. Looks they grounded out to Solarte at third.
Ramirez was the first to run the count to 3-0, then took a strike and then grounded to third base. Tanaka has yet to walk anybody.
Down around it. Outfield slightly to the right. Nice gap out there in left center for Alexei if he can find it. There's the strike.
I think that's probably more of a tip-off of how Tanaka is going to pitch Ramirez as opposed to how Ramirez usually hits the ball.
Well, he's not going to hit that pitch right there. He just called a strike on it because it wasn't a strike. Why not? He's one of those guys, if he gets it from the umpire, he's going to stay out there. Meanwhile, top of the 7th in Detroit, Texas leading Tigers 9-2.
Javi Guerra loosening in the bullpen.
And that 9-2 Texas lead over the Tigers. Verlander, 5 in the third, 11 hits, 9 runs. Watch out.
Not the best of days for Andre Rienzo. Sox have been undefeated in his 6 previous starts.
Softly hit. And Solarte cannot make the play.
Probably going to be a base hit because that's a do or die pickup. And the only way you can throw him out is to charge it aggressively, have it stick in the glove, and throw in one motion. So indeed, Lexi gets an infield hit.
That is hit number 2 for us. And that'll bring up Paulie.
I'd like to send along anniversary greetings to my friends Don and Christina Vogel, celebrating lucky number 13. He is very lucky to have had her this long.
Don's the one that's going to take some of my money next spring.
He better work out real hard. Otherwise, he's going to have to steal it to get it.
There's a strike. Happy anniversary, Don.
Yeah, it's really just his short game, his long game, his putting, and his sand game that have given him problems.
His loft, huh?
Other than that, he has
Loft gives him problems.
yeah,
Lack of
lack of talent. That's it.
Uh-oh. 2 down. So here's Diaza. Diaza has hit the hardest ball we have had hit off Tanaka. He hit a bullet right to Soriano in right field. Count evens at 1. Flowers on deck. Now make your plans to be with us tomorrow afternoon, a 1:10 start. Quintana against Tomlin. And if you can't make it to the ballpark, the game will be over. Comcast Sportsnet right here. Tuesday, Chris Sale against Justin Masterson. That game will be over WCIU. On Wednesday, Hector Noesi against TJ House. And that game right back here on Comcast Sportsnet. It's an off day on Thursday. Then the Padres come to town on the weekend to close out this 11-day, 10-game homestand. Three and 2 the count.
Let's assume that Jose Abreu does come back and is entirely healthy, as we assume he is going to in the not too distant future. You could very well be looking out there on the mound at his leading competitor for Rookie of the Year. Because if Tanaka stays healthy, he's going to make a very strong case for his candidacy.
And our top prospect, Micah Johnson, was in the house today. Checked out a hamstring. Charlotte put out a release. They put him on the DL. As he gets him, as strikeout number 4 for Tanaka, and he's got a 5-run lead.
CSN Chicago's Facebook page and register to win 2 tickets to the Blackhawks-Kings game this Wednesday and dinner for 2. Like CSN Chicago for a chance to be at the Western Conference Final. Avi Garrett comes in, and there are the numbers of AAA. They were pretty impressive. ERA .233. 8 walks, 11 strikeouts, and 19 1/3. He allowed a home run. The left-handers hit him a whole lot better than right-handers. 2011, he had 21 saves for the Los Angeles Dodgers, and they thought for a while like he would be their guy going forward, but then he had some problems. Had a couple of different surgeries in 2012. Things did not go particularly well for him, and a lot like Ronald Belisario, who started out with the Dodgers, he finds himself now in a White Sox uniform.
Lower third of the Yankee order here in the top of the 6th inning. Soriano, Suzuki, and Roberts. Soriano 1 for 2, a double. That ball hit hard.
That one fooled Adam.
Yeah.
That's one of the few, and we mean very few, he has not judged well, and that's because it came out as a knuckleball. He was moving to his left as this ball looked like it was slicing away, but then because it was hit so hard, the ball actually came back, and as you can see, he just overran it. So that'll happen. Meanwhile, it was a rocket.
That looked like one of El Cañon, the cannon's shots right there. Ball just like it was shot out of a cannon. So here is Suzuki. He's 1 for 2 with a single and a run score. First pitch strike from Avi. And the count 0-2. Ate him up. Not going to stay in there long enough. Fastball in 95.
Doesn't appear to be anything wrong with his arm.
Well, if he's going to sport a 95-mile-an-hour fastball, go along with that curveball, the second pitch he threw to, that's going to get the job done. So 1 out. Soriano at third. Was it 2 years ago he picked up 21 saves for the Dodgers?
2011. And at that point, because of his arm and because of the liveliness of everything he threw, they believed that he was their closer of the future. And again, sometimes your body betrays you on the way to being anointed as anything of the future. That's what happened with Avi.
Brian Roberts looking for it, got it, out and round it. 0-2 the count. That one at 93. 39,142.
Second sellout of the year. And if you're going to order up weather, high 70s, not a cloud in the sky, bright sunshine, nice little wind coming off the lake. Just a gorgeous day.
Well, we have absolutely had bad weather the last 4 years in April and May. Unbelievably bad. That hit him. Got him pretty good.
That got him real good.
95-mile-an-hour fastball.
Yeah, that got him right next to Lou Pinella's former number when he hit for the New York Yankees.
So runners at the corners with one down, and here's Gardner. He's 1 for 3 with 2 RBIs and a run scored. Well, the weather should be good from here on out. School is going to be getting out. And we'll have some nice crowds here to see this fun ball club we have. Just can't get out of my head, though, about how much I feel bad for Garcia missing this year, because he's going to miss, 550 or 600 at bats.
Worst part of the whole thing, as he is developing into the hitter he was going to be, he is going to be, you have that just pushed back a year.
Yeah, that really bothers me, and it does. And then you put the specter of he's going to be back next year. Micah Johnson probably going to be here next year. So we got some good years coming. We got some good times coming. He gone. That one at 93.
Tyler wants it inside. That one's right there. And Gardner probably just gets out guessed and looks at one, for all practical purposes, right down the middle.
So here's the captain. He's 3 for 3. 2 singles, a triple. His first triple in quite some time.
Pretty amazing.
It is.
Back of August of 2011.
He also has scored 1 and knocked in 1.
Won 5 Gold Gloves at shortstop. 13 All-Star Game appearances. To go with his 5 World Series championship rings. And another he came an eyelash from winning in 2001.
That fastball at 95. Plus, he's got 257 home runs.
The whole lot of it, top to bottom, are stacked with impressive numbers.
There's one. middle in the center field. So he's 4 for 4, 2 RBIs, and it's a 6-0 game.
He's now driven in 10 runs this year. And the fans who have come out packed this ballpark for the beautiful day that it is, a family Sunday, and the farewell to Derek Jeter are going to remember 4 hits today for the 45th time in his career. With 4 or more hits, that's astonishing.
Here's Ellsbury. He's 0 for 1 with a walk and sacrifice fly. Got his average up to 277. Two on, 2 out, 2-1 to count. 1 run in. 6-9-0 for the Yankees. 0-2-1 for our Sox. That's into short center field. And he makes the catch to go to the bottom of the 6th, trailing by 6.
Post-game live. Go inside the locker room, hear from Coach Q, and get the breakdown on Game 4 of the Western Conference Final. Blackhawks post-game live tomorrow after the Blackhawks game.
A 6-0 Yankee lead here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Masahiro Tanaka making his 10th start, coming in with that 6-1 record, 2.39 ERA. So far, if you look at his stuff, just for an inning, you say, wow, it's not that impressive. If you look at it for a few innings, like we have now for 5, and that ball hit hard, but they got a man there, can't make the play over his head. And that power. And a waltz on into second base with his 5th double. Ball was scalded.
Well, the ball kept taking off. I'm pretty sure that Gardner thought this was going to be a sinking line drive. It didn't turn out that way. It was a fastball down the middle, and in fact Gardner had already set up for it instead of moving back a step, and it just got over his head.
So here's Adam, 0 for 2, a grounder to second and a fly out to left. But you watch him for a few innings with that control he has, and all of a sudden you start putting it all together and you say, hey, this guy's pretty good.
$155 million worth for a guy who had never thrown a pitch in this country. And the Yankees weren't the Lone Ranger. There were a lot of people going to pony up a lot of money to get it. Pretty impressive numbers to this point. On the verge of giving up his first run of the day.
Well, you know the count. Beckham on deck.
Not much jumps out at you. He really hasn't had a whole lot of difficulties.
There's one. You just got to figure he's going to throw another strike.
Josh Beckett has a no-hitter into the bottom of the 9th inning in Philadelphia.
There's 3-2.
Dodgers lead that one 6-0.
So he comes back from the 3-0 count, 1 down.
Here's our Xfinity high-speed action replays, and it's a lot of strikeouts, and they've been just about with everything. The splitter, the curveball, the splitter again, and yet another one until that one dips down and in. They stop by McCann. So the K parade continues.
Back. Gordon has gone out to center and he is struck out. Tanaka is the kind of guy you trying to protect the plate on. Cover the whole plate. You go for 4. You got to take one side. You want the middle in, you got to stand right on top of the plate. If you want the middle out, you got to back off the plate so you can dive.
He very rarely will throw you a strike inside, but in a situation where you have to swing, he'll throw you that fastball 3-4 inches inside. He'll force you to swing at it. You can't do anything with it except foul it or miss it.
That's in the left field, Gardner. 2 down. The fans of First Merit Bank Stadium Club offers breathtaking views of U.S. Cellular Field and delicious food and beverage options for you to enjoy prior and during White Sox games. So purchase a First Merit Bank Stadium Club membership by calling 312-674-1000.
And Josh Beckett is 1 out away from a no-hitter against the Philadelphia Phillies in Philadelphia.
Here is Connor. He's 1 for 2. Picked up our first hit with 1 out in the 4th inning. Breaking ball misses. So the second hitter he's gone 3-0-2. There's one. There's a little flipper, and that's going to fall. Here's a throw to the plate. He's safe. So we get on the board.
Kind of drops that one right in front of Gardner in left field. And the Sox break through against a tough right-hander. RBI number 16 for Connor Gillespie.
And here's Tank. Tank has struck out and fouled out to McCann, who made a real good catch on him. Got a good pitch to hit and couldn't pull the trigger. That's the difference in a 4-pitch pitcher and a 3-pitch pitcher and a 2-pitch pitcher. Sometimes you can't pull the trigger on a 4-pitch pitcher.
Well, you're guessing 25%.
Well, that's what the great Ted Williams said. He said, the guys who have the 4 pitches and get them over your 20-game winners, he said, you got to try to take at least one of them away. Away. Ball gets away. So that's going to be his second wild pitch.
Tough to backhand that ball and keep it in front of you. That was way wild.
Now pick him up. All right, we get one. We'll go to the 7th, trailing by 5.
Tweet your photo to hashtag SouthsideFanPhoto for a chance to be shown on our broadcast, brought to you by AT&T. Oh, there's a young fan. And Josh Beckett on a 3-2 fastball threw a no-hitter. And he threw it in Philadelphia. So congratulations to Josh.
And here's Tex. Mark Teixeira.
Chase Utley, who took that 3-2 fastball right down the middle.
Oh, 1-2 the count. And that ball into left center field. The Osmond. So 1 out.
Scott Carroll loosening up in the pen. And like most lifetime starters, he would much rather be a starter. That being said, sometimes it just doesn't work out that way. And in the end, he said he's very happy to have been chosen to stay in the major leagues in the bullpen.
McCann 0 for 3. Couple strikeouts, ground out to short, which was
like he got hit.
Yeah, he did. He did pretty good. So the second. Hit batsman by Guerra.
Looked like it got him just above the right elbow.
So here's Solarte. He started off that 4-run second with a bad hop single. Well, think about Guerra. He will pitch inside.
Way inside. That last pitch was a good 2 feet inside.
One and one to count to the 26-year-old third baseman. All 5 of his home runs coming from the left side.
That was the first Dodger no-hitter since Hideo Nomo in 1996. 21st in Los Angeles. Dodger history.
Sandy Koufax.
He had 4 of them, including 1 perfect game.
It's amazing that's all he had.
With his stuff, it seemed like he could have had one every time out.
That's fired into our dugout. Top of the 8th in Baltimore. Orioles leading Cleveland 4-2. No score. Kansas City at the Big A in Anaheim. That's in the top of the 3rd. Giants leading Minnesota 2-0. That's in the bottom of the 1st at AT&T. 12-4 Texas leading Detroit. Top of the 8th inning. Milwaukee leading Miami 7-1. That's in the bottom of the 9th down in Florida. Nats leading the Pirates 5-1. Top of the 8th, bottom of the 8th now in Pittsburgh. It's hit hard but foul. Tampa Bay leading Boston. Bottom of the 7th, 6-3. Red Sox.
Boston got some bad news. Mike Napoli. A day after Shane Victorino went on the disabled list, Mike Napoli to the disabled list with a sprained left ring finger.
And that's back right over us. It's amazing.
Well, you read every day, you read the stories that come out in the major leagues, and every day you see injuries, but you always saw them, but now you're seeing injuries to everyday stars of these various teams, and you're seeing it day after day after day.
He gone.
Close enough.
Well, I told you that story about one day we're sitting around with Fregosi, Doug Rader, myself, Eddie Brinkman, and somebody else. I can't think of who it was. Coach. As here is Soriano, who's 2 for 3 with 2 doubles and a run scored. There were 5 of us. We're sitting around BSing after a game. And the DL came up. And among the 5 of us, we said, Jimmy, how many times you been on the deal? Doug, how many times you been on it? Brinky boy, how many times? Well, there was a total, and we had well over 100 years of major league experience, playing time. There was a total of the 5 of us, 6 DLs. And every one of them was because of a broken bone.
There was a very difficult decision to make before you even ask a team to put you on the designated and the disabled list, because you're on 1-year contracts. So if you didn't play this year, you didn't play a lot this year, you couldn't get paid next year. And so there was a stigma attached to the disabled list, and now long-term contracts, and you know, you're not saying that these guys aren't hurt, because they are. It's just that for many of these things, they've come back a little sooner, or maybe didn't have to come back at all.
It's out of play. I remember when I broke my leg and my ankle out in spring training at Mesa. I was in the hospital, and Vernon Stouffer and Gay Paul flew out from Cleveland. And I'm lying there My ankle's as big as a basketball. And I'm lying there in pain. You know, it didn't feel good. And I was making $100,000 a year. And Gabe asked me while I was in the bed. Alvin Dark happened to be in the room too.
How long you thought you'd be out? Could we get you back?
No, they knew I was going to miss the whole year.
Oh.
And Gabe said, "Do you mind if would you take a 20% pay cut?"
Oh, sure.
Alvin Dark
30
exploded. I mean, he went ballistic when Gabe asked me that. Here I was with an ankle like a basketball. That's high, and that's going to be. He says, "You know, we got a lot of expenses, and you're not going to be able to play this year. Will you take a 20% cut?"
I'd be more than happy to. Thank you. But only if you made it 30% or maybe 40%.
Oh boy.
Yeah, times have changed.
He gone. Hook. I tell you, first time we've seen this guy like is Javi Guerra.
The singing of God Bless America is performed in support of our country and our men and women stationed overseas. Please welcome Miles Hayes for the singing of God Bless America.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home sweet home. God bless America, my home sweet home.
6-1 Yankees on top. 6-9-0 for them. 1-4-1 for us here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Beautiful day, except everything but the score.
Tanaka just 25 years old. It looks like he has the poise of very much of a seasoned veteran. He was working up in the strike zone last time. It was, by his standards, a little technical flaw in his delivery. He was asked by the press if he thought he could correct that in time for the next start. He said, just watch. He's supremely confident. And who wouldn't be when you go 24-0 in whatever league you happen to be in at any given time? You go 24-0, you're going to have a lot of confidence.
Well, this is his 8th year in pro ball. There's a strike. Well, his first year, he worked 186 innings. Next year, 172. Next year, 189. Next year, 155. 2011, 226 innings. Then 173 and 12. And last year, 212 innings.
And I don't believe he ever got to 30 starts in any of those years.
Closest he came was 28.
Yeah, you just don't. In Japan, you just don't get to 30 starts in a season.
Well, it seems like in Japan, you just don't get hurt.
You don't get that either.
I don't think they have the same kind of agents over there that we have over here. That ball's hit into the seats for a souvenir. Adam. He's gone out to center and he is grounded to first.
Usually in Japanese major leagues, you have a schedule where you pitch once a week. And that has maybe a little something to do with it. That and the fact that the workouts are prolific. I mean, these guys work out day after day, the length of the day. They're never out of shape. They can't really ever get out of shape because, I mean, when I played against one of the Japanese teams, it was the Latte Orioles at the time. They were out there from morning till night every day. And George Altman, who used to play in this country, was playing with the Japanese team, and he said it was killing him.
Because there is the leadoff walk. So that is the first walk issued by Tanaka. And that'll bring up Alexei. Well, everybody that I talked to that played in Japan, I mean, it was horror stories about the regimen they had there.
Yep. It is something. Just about all day, every day. And at the time, different customs. I remember the guy who I played with when I was with the Cubs named Pete Lecoq, played in Japan. He said he ran over the opposing catcher. He ran over the other team's catcher on a play at the plate, trying to dislodge the ball, and his team wanted to fight him. But they just didn't do that. And of course, now we don't do it in this country.
Well, some activity down in that Yankee pen. That to me is just a bad rule. I mean, it is. Are you going to have injuries? Sure, you're going to have injuries. That's part of the game. That's part of the game. The essence of the game of baseball is trying to win a game. That's what it is. You're trying to win a game. And that's back through the middle in the center field. So Adam, here we go, boys. Don't stop now.
Well, with Warren loosening up in the bullpen and 2 on, nobody out here in the 7th. Still only a 5-run game, and this team has had a propensity to come back late.
But in a close ball game, if that guy's got the ball, what are you supposed to do? Stop or slide into him, let him come over?
Well, that's unfortunately what it's become. And you know what? A lot of catchers learned for many years how to protect themselves.
Sure.
There were injuries, but there's injuries at every base. But the catchers learned how to protect themselves. Some did it much better than others. Some never got near a base runner coming to score. They just would use a swipe tag, and that was that.
Paulie chops that one foul. Well, I guarantee in all the times that I've tried to run over catchers, which were a lot in my career, I took the worst of them. If you want to add up all the who won, who lost, I guarantee you I took the worst of them.
Well, if they had the ball, if a strong major league catcher, most of them are very strong, if they got the ball ahead of you and had any chance to brace themselves, you will get the worst of it.
No question about it. Well, there were some rules we played by. The rules were, if the guy did not have the ball and he was trying to block the plate, then shame on him. Okay? But if he did not have the ball and he was standing up in front and gave you some of the plate, you didn't touch him. You just slid and you didn't touch him. And if he had the ball, it was up to you to try to knock it out of his glove. And a lot of times where the injuries came was on bang-bang plays, you know, where he was waiting on it, but yet he was blocking the plate for you, so that's when you took him out. 0-2 the count to Paulie. Paulie 0 for 1.
He's trying to do whatever he can do to keep the ball in the air. Don't want a ground ball here.
No, he already had one. Line shot. And they double him up, so that's not good.
Now, that was the play right in front of you, and
that is
it's not like he had to jump up and get it. It was hit right at Jeter. He went to Roberts behind Dunn, and it's a double play.
So here's Diaz. He's 0 for 2. No sense in saying anything else about it because everybody sitting out there watching the game knows. 1-0. Six, 9-0 for them. 1-5-1 for us. Ball and 2 strikes to Alejandro. Too much time. They call a balk. Yeah, he said I call timeout, so no balk.
Initially, Jeff Nelson called the balk because he saw, when he looked at him out, he saw Tanaka move.
His elbow.
Yep. And did not compensate for Dan Bellino already having called time.
1-2 pitch. 39,142. He's seen us get, for the most part, dominated by Tanaka.
When he delivers this pitch, this will be his highest pitch count of the year this year.
That's low. 2 out, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Decent lead by Alexi. And a full count. That's the highest I've seen him yet, 94.
And there's a very good chance that if he does not get Diaz, Joe will probably go out and get him.
All 4 base hit. And that is fouled back. Fourth row. Guy gets it. Gives it to a little one. Oh yeah. Didn't cradle that ball. That. Wonderful sight. See a child look on his face when he gets a baseball. Share behind now the 3-2 pitch. And that's ball 4. So he has walked 2.
And here comes Joe Girardi. That's going to be it. He's already surpassed his highest total of the year. And so Adam Warren's going to come into the game as Hiro Tanaka is going to depart. And we'll step out and be back after these messages.
Strikeout stroke day here at US Cellular Field. So join the Sox and our effort to raise awareness of stroke warning signs and the importance of acting fast. So Purchase your tickets today by visiting WhiteSox.com/strikeoutstroke.
Adam Warren comes in the ball game on for the 23rd time. A 1-2 record, a 1.63 ERA. 28 strikeouts, just 7 walks, and 27 2/3. We saw him in the second game of the series. He went an inning and 2/3 with a couple of hits and 3 strikeouts. Did not give up a run.
Well, he's got good stuff, but one swing of the bat right here, and we're right back in this thing. Tyler has faced Warren twice. He has 2 hits. Oh, he got a roller right there, a cookie, and missed it.
Now take a look where this one shows up. It's a slider that doesn't slide. It stays right in the middle of the plate. And unfortunately, Tyler fouled it straight back. With runners in scoring position, he's been awfully good. He's completely changed his 2-strike approach.
That one in 95. Yeah, I was talking with some Yankee people about Warren. Before they moved into the bullpen, when he was a starter, he was topping out around 90.
If you know you're going to be in there for a max 2 innings, and more times than not 1 1/3, 1 2/3, you can reach back and get whatever it is you've got.
Well, that one was 95.
Maybe a great example a little closer to home, Chris Sale pitches comfortably 93, 94 miles an hour. When he was in that bullpen, he was coming out at 98 and 99 at times.
And we've seen him at 101, 102. Two on, 2 out, 1-2 the count. Right here, Tyler. We get a couple of guys on, can't do anything with it. We'll go to the 8th, trailing by 5.
The day of Derek Jeter. The finale of this ballpark. He was presented before the game with some keepsakes, and then during the game, you're looking at the triple, that coming in the 4th inning, and then he scores on a wild pitch. But sandwiched around that triple, 3 singles, 2 runs driven in, and a run scored. So a 4-for-4 day for the captain, Derek Jeter. Scott Carroll comes into the ball game. He's been on 5 times. 1-3 record, 6.5 ERA. Every one of those 5 starts were as a starting pitcher. This is his first major league relief appearance. I'll agree with you. Javi Gary had pretty decent stuff today.
Believe it. I like when I saw from him.
Good over the top curveball. Fastball at 95, certainly with enough on it to make a difference.
Plus, when Tyler wanted it in there, he got it in there.
And sometimes when he didn't want it in there, he got it in there.
You know what? You got to make them move their eyes and make them move their feet.
If you can command the inside part of the plate, you're going to get a lot of strikeouts on the outside part of the plate.
Here's Ichiro. Will be followed by Roberts. Back to the top of the order with Gardner. There's first pitch strike from Scott. Ichiro 1 for 3, a single and a run scored coming back in the 2nd inning when they scored 4. Third ball. And for more on Scott Carroll, let's go down to our Jen Latta.
Well, hey there, guys. I got a chance to talk to Scott this morning before he anticipated he'd be pitching in today's game or tomorrow's. And he said he's very excited to be able to continue contributing to this team. He said this long relief role is probably the most stable position a guy can have out of the bullpen. And he's actually added a cutter to his arsenal. Not a big surprise since Don Cooper was able to get his hands on him. Here's the thing, though. I said, has anybody given you advice about the transition to the bullpen? He said, as a matter of fact, they have. He gestured down to his fellow relievers and said, they told me our job out of the pen is to get outs and shut our mouths. Guys, back up to you.
Good philosophy.
Coops thinking you laying it on the line to him. First time I heard that one. Brian Roberts, high, deep fly ball. And it's 7-1.
Second home run, 10th driven in. As that ball drifts back over the plate, our Ford home run replay. And it's a 6-run deficit as that one finds the bullpen.
So here's Gardner. 1 for 4. 2-run single, and he also scored. Now Scott's the kind of guy that he's got to either write it on his glove or impress it in his brain that if he misses, he's going to miss low.
He had a lot of high sinkers during those starts, and every time he did, at his velocity, you just don't get away with that.
Well, actually, you know, just because the word miss is in that statement that I made, that does not mean it's negative. That's positive. If I miss, I'm going to miss down. If I miss, I'm going to miss low. I mean, that's a very positive statement.
There's a whole lot of outs missing low because guys will register a fastball. They'll swing over the top and beat it straight down in the ground. You get a lot of ground balls that way.
There's that ball deep in the left center field. And caught by Diaz, right in the State Farm category, territory, area.
That ball didn't sound like it was hit all that well, but that curveball went back to the middle of the track. Nice play by Alejandro.
Well, with all Scott Carroll's gone through, in his career. He's 29 years old. All he's gone through, and all of a sudden he's going to have an opportunity to face Derek Jeter. He'll remember that for the rest of his life, as will his children and his grandchildren, when he has some. 4 for 4. And first pitch strike. And the count 0-2. Say it for Derek Jeter. Struck him out. And we'll go to the bottom of the 8th. It'll be the top of the order for us here in the bottom of the 8th. Eaton, Beckham, and Gillespie. Adam 0 for 3. That fastball at 93, and the count 0-1. So the Red Sox in trouble in St. Pete, trailing 8-3, top of the 9th inning. Looking to lose their 10th straight.
Pretty amazing slump they have dropped into.
Well, the record is 11 from a team that were the defending world champions. Two and one. Losing Napoli certainly is not going to help him.
And Victorino, both.
Victorino is not going to help him. 2-2. And make your plans to be with us tomorrow afternoon. That'll be our third straight day game. Joe Blue, how long? 3 in a row we'd have. How many? How many times have we done? I don't ever recall 3 straight day games. There's a shot in the air. Gotta hurry. So that is out number 1. Some Sox fans join us on Saturday, May 31st at 1:10 as our Sox take on the Padres. Also, the first 5,000 children ages 10 and under will receive a White Sox Kids baseball glove presented by Beggar's Pizza. So for tickets, call 866-SOX-GAME or visit whitesox.com. Here's Gordon. Fly to center, struck out, fly to left. Takes first pitch strike. It's an easy 94 right there by Adam Warren.
They get a few guys out of that bullpen, which has proven to be a big plus for the Yankees that can get the ball up there pretty well.
Well, as we've talked about so much now, that's the culture. Culture of the game. Care how good your starters are. Care how good your offense is, defense is. It's a battle of bullpens. A good example was that yesterday for us. There's a shot going foul. But the starters do have the responsibility of protecting the bullpen. And that's by getting their innings in. Johnny Danks did a good job yesterday, going 8. If you missed that game, that's the best we've seen John in a long time.
Well, they've got Robertson who throws hard. The hardest probably Betances, who we saw a couple times in this series. They're a huge right-hander. So they roll a few out there that can get the ball up there.
Betances, to me, from what we've seen, is going to wind up being their closer. I mean, he is 6'8", 260 pounds. We saw him hit 98. We didn't see it really. I didn't. You may have. I didn't see that real terrifying slider that they said he had.
It was pretty good.
It was pretty good, but it was not devastating like they said. You got a devastating slider. I didn't see that. If there's a base hit, that a boy. Gordon. So the 1-out single, and that'll bring up Gillespie. But he's going to wind up being. I told some Yankee people they love him, and he's going to wind up being their closer.
Well, when you take a look at some of the numbers he's put up, and you see 49 strikeouts and 28 in the third innings for just a young kid coming out of that pen, it's pretty impressive when he's only got 9 walks to go with it. So the control has not only been there, but he does throw the invisible ball at times.
Well, at 6'8", when he releases it, he's not throwing, as you say, you know, with a 6-foot as there as a line shot right at him. That's a hang Wolfram, or Connor, who is now 2 for 4 with an RBI. When it comes across that plate, it might register 98 on that gun, but it looks a lot quicker than that to the eye of the hitter.
Yeah, it does. Thornton and Daly listening in the pen. You all know Matt Thornton. Daly is the sidearm right-hander.
And here's Tank. Tank is 0 for 3 today. Yeah, the Red Sox used to have a 6'8" reliever. Called Dick Raditz. They call him the Monster. Whew. It's so hard. He got a cookie, missed it.
Just pull up and on the inner portion, it's a hanging slider. And fortunately for Warren and unfortunately for Viciedo, it hung too far inside.
Two and two. Final from Comerica Park as Texas dumps Verlander and Tigers 12-4. Jammed himself right there. 85-mile-an-hour pitch. Meanwhile, that's it. We'll go to the ninth, trailing 7-1.
Get the recap on today's game and all the action around the league. So don't miss White Sox postgame live today, right after the game on Comcast Sportsnet.
It's the ninth inning in the finale of this 4-game set with the Yankees. We took the first two. And unless we can do something really big in the ninth, they're going to take the last two. So it'll be Ellsbury, Teixeira, and McCann. Ellsbury 0 for 2 with a walk and a sacrifice fly. One and two. He gone. Nice pitch right there. Even though it was inside.
I was going to say it was a nice pitch if Dan Bellino's going to call it. You figure getaway day, Memorial Day.
6-run lead.
6-run lead late. Swing the bat.
Teixeira. Takes ball one.
Derek Jeter will have played all 4 games.
Strike. Seven, 10, and 0 for them. 1, 6, and 1 for us. Just tuning in. Rienzo started for us. Tanaka for them. They are the pitchers of record. Stands like this. Tanaka's going to go to 7 and 1. And Rienzo is going to go to 4 and 1. So there's the 1-out walk. First walk issued by Scott. And here's McCann. He is 0 for 3 and was hit by a pitch. You got a shift on for him. And Adams is going to play behind Teixeira. Curveball strike. And looking at some other scores. Baltimore beat Cleveland 4-2. Kansas City leading the Angels 3-0. Bottom of the 5th out at the Big A. Bottom of the 4th in San Francisco. Giants leading Minnesota 3-1. Bottom of the 4th in San Diego. No score. Cubs. Padres. Two and 1 to count. Toronto beat Oakland 3-1. Swept them. So the A's have now lost 4 in a row, and Toronto has won 6 in a row. That's into center field. Now the Ozza calls off. Adam, 2 down.
And the Yankees, who were on a substantial road trip, start out with 2 against the Cubs, 4 here, and they go on to play St. Louis for returning home. We've got a week homestand and then another long road trip. Kansas City, Seattle, and Oakland. So if they're going to try to solidify and grab a piece of first place, they're going to have to do it most likely on the road.
That's high and wide to Solarte. Started off that 4-run second with a single. Bad hop single. He's 1 for 4. Two and 0. Ball hit hard. But we got a man there. And that'll retire to the side. We'll go to the bottom of the 9th. Dunn, Ramirez, and Canerco.
Pays a visit to the South Side. Tune in and see Michael Brantley and Adam Dunn slug it out at the Cell with the White Sox and Indians tomorrow at 12:30 on Comcast Sportsnet. And there are the probables. It's Tomlin, Masterson, and House as they oppose Quintana, Sale, and Hector Nuese. That's tomorrow afternoon, Tuesday, and Wednesday night. Matt Daly comes in. He's a side-wheeling right-hander. He's on for the 8th time. His ERA, 3.72. He has walked 6 and 9 2/3 innings, but he has a very substantial 6-run lead.
And here's Adam. Adam 0 for 2 with a walk. Takes ball 1. Let's put a few on the board. Get a little better psyche going into tomorrow. Change up, had him out in front off bounds. Also, just tuning in, Josh Beckett, no hit. The Phillies at Citizens Bank. One and 2. Milwaukee picked up their 31st win. No, their 30th. As they beat Miami 7-1. And there's a shot down into the corner. The big man is going to lumber on into second base. That's his 8th two-back.
Sidearmers for left-handers are a lot easier to deal with than a standard pitcher. Where you see the ball all the way and then crush that ball into the corner.
So here's Alexei. He's 2 for 3. Alexei hitting at .323 on the season, go along with 7 homers and 35 RBIs. Takes first pitch strike.
The throws in scoring position. Alexei is 4th in the American League in that department. That all-important department.
Breaking ball cues it foul. So 0-2. Up high, 1-2. High pop up to Sherrill. Alexei right there, a little upset with himself. He got himself out. Started drifting a little too much. Meanwhile, one down, and it'll bring up Paulie. Paulie 0 for 2. He's hit by a pitch. Out and around that one a little too quick. Ball hit high in the center field. So we are down to our last out.
We had a chance to see one of 5 new young players to come into the league. Masahiro Tanaka did not disappoint. Would like to have scored a few more off him. Didn't have all that many opportunities, but in the opportunities we did have, he got the double play when he had to.
He was impressive.
Yeah, I think he's got a chance, and I assume he's going to stay together because of simplicity of motion. He's got a chance to be real good.
Yeah, I would say right now he's got an excellent chance to win 20 games this year. Unless he falls into that syndrome. That's in the right field. When he comes down, this ball game will be over. So we take the first 2. Lost a tough one yesterday. They take the next 2. I think out of the whole thing, though, for me, it was Johnny Danks.
I think if you're going to take one positive out of the series, that you felt like you should have taken 3 or 4, but on the other end, you stole a ball game. In the second game, you might not have stolen otherwise. But Johnny Danks has to be the huge plus, because that's what this team is waiting for. Waiting for Chris Sale to come back. He did. Waiting for John Danks to become the John Danks he was. He was yesterday. And those are the 2 positives.
All right, let's check out our GMC professional grade player of the game in this apropos. Derek Jeter, his final game here in Chicago of his career. He goes 4 for 5, 2 RBIs, a run scored, a triple. Here's our GMC professional grade player of the game. So for my partner, Steve Stone, our director, Jim Angio, our producer, Mike Leary, our associate producer, Dave Ross, our technical manager, Mark Harper, also the executive producer, Jim Cornell Jr., for the mayor, Mean Joe Grew, for Doug Bullitt, sound, Dave Cella, Dan Ballou, Paul Casey. This is the Hawk. So long, everybody. Coming up next, Super Postgame Live with Chuck and Bill. You've been watching White Sox baseball on Comcast Sportsnet.